Well, hello everyone and welcome to the Cyber Safety News Show here on the Safety News Network. My name is Adam Blue, and each week I'll dive into the latest news of cybersecurity just to kind of give you insight on what attackers are up to and maybe ways you could protect yourself. This week is pretty crazy. I think I found 3 stories that could all be very crazy situations if they are played out in the way I think these attackers mean them to. This has to do with a hospital. This has to do with children's data. Yes, data from just children, and how would you get that and why, and we'll get into that. But also it has to do with like the aerospace industry and like high-tech operations. I'm even thinking UFOs, but I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. Yeah, let's dive into this. Hope everyone had a good last week. We're gonna start here with East Texas Hospital Network can't receive ambulances because of potential cybersecurity incident. So, a network of hospitals in East Texas has not been able to accept ambulances to emergency rooms since Thanksgiving Day because of a potential cybersecurity incident, a hospital spokesperson told CNN on Friday. The hospital network UT Health East Texas is operating using established downtime procedures as the hospital investigates a potential security incident and works to bring computers back online, spokesperson Allison Poland said in an email. Poland did not respond to subsequent phone calls seeking more information on the incident and how the hospitals were responding. She declined to answer further questions over email. Yeah, these are sensitive matters. Sometimes you don't want to talk about everything as you're trying to figure it out. That could tip off attackers. And before I continue, remember, there are some previous videos on here where we've talked about hospitals and how they are constantly targeted. And it's sometimes not just one hospital, but a whole network. Headquartered in Tyler, Texas, UT Health East Texas operates 10 hospitals and more than 90 clinics in the region and provides healthcare to thousands of patients annually, according to its LinkedIn page. The East Texas healthcare system is just the latest hospital group that has been forced to turn ambulances away because of an apparent cybersecurity incident. The last 9 months alone have seen cyber attacks divert ambulances from hospitals in Connecticut, Florida, Idaho, and Pennsylvania. The cyber incident at UT Health East Texas began on Thursday when the hospital network became aware of a network outage and moved to lock down its network, according to the hospital network's statements to CNN. The hospital network originally said Thursday that it expected computer networks to be restored in the next 24 to 36 hours, but it's unclear if that will happen. Officials at the Department of Health and Human Services and U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, 2 federal agencies charged with helping hospitals defend themselves from hackers, did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The FBI, which also responds to hacks of hospitals, did not immediately have a comment. Yeah, they're keeping that under wraps. Hospitals are a big deal for a number of reasons. You know, this life and death directly. Federal officials and critical infrastructure operators such as hospitals and power plants are particularly wary of the threat of ransomware and other cyber attacks over long holiday weekends when many Americans have the day off and cybersecurity teams may be stretched. So the main thing here is talking about how ambulances are diverted. It's criminal in the first place to be hacking to these degrees, but when you're affecting emergency situations, what if diverting the ambulance or making it unable for someone to receive immediate care for a life-threatening injury because of this is horrifying. Like, I get it. Sometimes hackers need to do something to fight the man or whatever it is, but to affect people's lives in this way, that's just not that. That's pure evil at that point, I guess. I mean, I was kind of alluding to, there are some times where people have an initiative to try to change and make change for a better. Sometimes it requires illegal activities, which I don't condone at all. But what is the point in affecting people's health care? That's just wild. Just like I said, these 3 topics are going to be pretty wild. So we'll move to this next one. App used by hundreds of schools leaking children's data. So not only hundreds of schools, but these hundreds of schools have hundreds of children. That's a lot of data. That is getting the profiles of people very early on in their life to continue to target them for the rest of their life. But this is scary. This is bad stuff. So almost 1 million files with minors' data, not minors like in the mind, but little kids, including home addresses and photos, were left open to anyone on the internet, posing a threat to children. During a recent investigation, the Cyber News research team discovered that IT company AppsCook, which develops applications used by more than 600 schools in India and Sri Lanka for education management, leaked a staggering amount of sensitive data, including photos of minors, home addresses, and birth certificates, due to a misconfiguration of their system. So this is due to a misconfiguration of their system. So, actually, I was going to start making some guesses of what happened, but let's just read, shall we? The digital ocean storage bucket containing almost 1 million sensitive files was left open to anyone without requiring authentication, leaking private data on the internet. In this case, poses a grave risk as most of the leaked files expose minors. So that is what I was trying to figure out here, and I think they kind of answered that, where a misconfiguration, so people could stumble upon this, and maybe it happened that way, where someone stumbled upon this, or I wonder if it's possible out there where there's feelers these hackers put out. It'd be like, okay, where are some unsecure systems we can get into? So students' names of parents, pictures of students attending primary, and secondary schools, names of the schools children attend, birth certificates, fee receipts, student report cards, exam results, home addresses, phone numbers. And that's a lot of information right there that you could use for any kind of social engineering. So let's say you're targeting these parents. In fact, based on this information, these hackers or any hacker could really be like, okay, let's target the parents. We can use this information that we have about their kids, about a lot of stuff, to use to like back engineer, to call Apple and be like, hey, I've lost my password. Okay, what is your child's middle name? Something like that. That gives off that type of data that could be used for that. It's pretty crazy. Let's see. While children may not be susceptible to digital fraud as adults, threat actors could exploit the leaked personal data for identity theft, fraud, and targeting phishing campaigns against the parents of these children. So yeah, just like I said, in worst case scenarios, the leak might increase the risk of child abuse. Now that's crazy. That's wild. See, we're getting wild here. According to the researchers, sharing children's images can lead to unwanted attention, including from predators. Okay, now that's actually, going too far if that's actually the case. That's, again, it's wild. And what's interesting about this, though, is this is like low-hanging fruit for people that aren't necessarily hackers but might have that evil side to them, because in this specific situation, the security wasn't up to snuff. It was misconfigured in a way that allowed this data to be available to anybody. So yeah, that's definitely wild. So, and it makes me think, like, if you have children, that's a big deal. What kind of data do you give the schools your children attend? That's not something we normally think about. We almost hope that a school system is playing safe with our data, is very secure, but we never know, like with this, what could happen. I wonder, for those out there with kids in school, if it's kind of best practice to kind of search around through their websites on the net to see if there's some way you can manipulate what they have online to get some data. And if you can, reach out immediately and be like, hey, look, this data is exposed and it shouldn't be. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Wild. Okay, so here we get something that's wild. General Electric investigates claims of cyber attack, data theft. So, General Electric is investigating the claims that a threat actor breached the company's development environment in a cyber attack and leaked allegedly stolen data. General Electric is an American multinational company with divisions in power, renewable energy, and aerospace industries. Okay. Well, I'm going to read some more of this, but this is what I'm thinking. Like, what if someone is hacking in to get the UFO secrets? Because come on, GE, aerospace, American multinational, power, renewable energy. You know that the states, governments have worked with GE to be like, hey, help us back engineer this UFO that we found in Egypt. Now, that stuff is, fun to think about, although that stuff has been talked about since this UFO disclosure thing has really become a thing that's been talked about a lot. And if we are to take what our government is telling us at face value, there has been UFOs retrieved from archaeological sites. So I would think that there would be groups out there trying to hack systems that could potentially have that information. And then if it's not UFOs, it probably can be some high-tech weaponry. So let's see. And sorry if the actual story's not as interesting as my little fiction here. But earlier this month, a threat actor named Intel Broker attempted to sell access to General Electric's development and software pipelines for $500 on a hacking forum. So they wanted to sell access to the development and software pipelines. So this is really to see different projects they have, different states they are in. That's a very interesting way to go about it. If they're selling access to the pipeline, well, let me read instead of constantly guessing. So after not selling said alleged access, the threat actor posted again that they are now selling both the network access and allegedly stolen data. I previously listed the access to General Electric's. However, no serious buyers have actually responded to me or followed up. I am now selling the entire thing here separately, including access, SSH, SVN, etc. The threat actor posted to a hacking forum. Data includes a lot of DARPA-related military information files, SQL files, documents. So DARPA stuff, it's going to be some wild technology. And so this is neat, right? We're actually looking at the post posted on a hacker forum by Intel Broker. And he's showing screenshots, but they're blurred so you can't see it. The racist? Is that like some sub-name he's given himself on that forum? That's, these people. Yeah. And he's God also. Okay. Wow. So, okay, let's read on. As proof of the breach, the threat actor shared screenshots of what they claim is stolen GE data, including a database from GE Aviations that appears to contain information on military projects. See? Getting to the UFOs. In a statement to Bleeping Computer, GE confirmed they are aware of the hackers' claims and are investigating the alleged data leak. We are aware of claims made by a bad actor regarding GE data and are investigating these claims. We will take appropriate measures to help protect the integrity of our systems, a GE spokesperson told Bleeping Computer. While the breach has not been confirmed, Intel Broker is a hacker known for successful high-profile cyber attacks in the past. This includes a Wii grocery service breach and the theft of sensitive personal information from the District of Columbia's DC HealthLink program. Okay, grocery store is like, what? But then once you're getting to Washington, DC, HealthLink program, this guy's climbing the ladder. So now, okay, and I just saw where it said aviations that contain information on military projects. And of course, GE is going to give very little information, even if they were to give more details on what was stolen, how the hack occurred. It's going to be very minimal information. It's only going to pertain to where they need to provide information to who's affected by it. Otherwise, it'd be interesting, and I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. How come there hasn't been some sort of hack that's revealed UFO secrets, you know? Doesn't that kind of make you think, well, okay, then maybe there is nothing, or we just really don't know what's out there? And yeah. Anyway, that, that's scary stuff. I got to say, like, it was fun to kind of talk about possible UFO data that could be stolen and hacked from these aerospace companies or these large corporations, multinational corporations that help the governments. But the sad part is things like hacking hospital networks that affect the ambulances that are to take someone critical from one place to another for emergency help. And then also hundreds, and probably thousands, if you're saying that there's hundreds of schools with kids' data that's out there, not just personal information about the parents and the kids themselves, but photos that could lead to potential abuse. That's some sad stuff. So you can see when it comes to hacking, it runs the gamut of, it could be state secrets for high-tech information people aren't supposed to know about, to just ways that people can act on evil urges. It's pretty crazy out there, so it's best to stay safe. And noted in one of the previous email or articles here, they talked about how over the holidays, hackers like to target that time frame because where people aren't really around these systems. There's still people are, but it's not a large group of people. So just thinking about that moving forward as we get more into the holiday, with the Christmas time coming up, and all the other festive holidays. Keep in mind that that's a time where hackers try to gain access where they can because they think people aren't paying attention. So there's keep that in mind, where it's at home with your own data or where you work and where you keep your data. Be careful with that. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed what I've shared today. Please let me know in the comments if you have any awesome cyber stories to tell, anything I should be talking about on this program. And yeah, be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and also give this video a like. It helps me out, it helps out the channel, so we can continue to do stuff like this. It's a lot of fun, I gotta say. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot. We'll talk later.